Hello guys, and welcome to another discussion video. And The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is only a few months away. We waited quite a while for this game, since it was originally revealed at E3 2019, and I feel like we've been waiting this long because of the pandemic and the fact that this is probably going to be a pretty big game. Definitely either on the scale of Breath of the Wild or even larger. I'll kind of get into that in a little bit. But I feel like the hype and anticipation for this game is slowly starting to kick in for people now. I know it kind of is for myself, like there's a lot of discussion about the game now, much more than there was previously, even more so than when the title was revealed back at the September Direct. I feel like it's that way because of like a mixture of some of the leaks that are coming out and the fact that we're probably only a few weeks away from the next direct. Like I could see like a lot of information about this game being revealed pretty soon. Like we're definitely kind of in the home stretch of when this game is going to release. It is kind of surprising that Nintendo hasn't revealed that much information about this, though to be fair, with most games lately, I feel like Nintendo likes to dump a lot of information, like right before it releases or just a couple months before it releases. Like they did that with like Xenoblade, Splatoon, a lot of their series. I feel like they're starting to do that, especially like even like Mario Strikers Battle League. They didn't reveal like basically anything about that game up until like a month before it released. But we found out that that game had nothing. But overall, Nintendo has been really kind of revealing things much closer to the release of their games. So I feel like that's kind of the case for Tears of the Kingdom, though I feel like we're probably gonna get a lot at the next Direct, or a trailer soon, something like that. But in this video, I'm kind of gonna go through some of my predictions for Tears of the Kingdom, because there hasn't been a lot revealed, like I said. So the first thing that I think will probably be the case for this game is that it will have a significantly larger open world. Like, I'm thinking it will probably be around 40 square miles, opposed to, like, I think the original game was like 25 to 30 square miles. Like, around that range, but I feel like it could definitely be substantially larger in terms of, like, both the ground and also, like, the floating islands, and I guess there's also going to be some underground exploration. There might be, I'm not sure. It just seems like there might be like some type of underground thing as well. I'm not sure, but I feel like there could definitely be a substantially larger open world here, and also a lot of changes to the world itself. I feel like they're probably going to do something in a way where the world is much different from the original game. They're probably going to have some sort of gimmick that makes the world much different from the original game. I'm not sure if they're like entirely basing it off of the original map or doing something like very weird. Like there might even be like some kind of twist that we don't even know about that like completely changes the world or something. I think there are parts of the world, or like much of the world is the exact same as the original game. I'm not like some of the trailers, it looked like the world kind of looked pretty similar to the original game, but I feel like there could be some kind of twist in there, or some kind of thing to where things are a lot different, or at least they expand upon the original world and kind of allow you to travel to some of the outer areas that you couldn't before. They might like expand that way, as well as obviously like in the sky. Like I think there could be a lot to be explored with like the floating islands and different things. We don't really know. Like we barely got any footage of this game so far, only like a few minutes of the game so far, and they're just like different clips of different areas. And we don't really know much about what they're gonna do with this. So I'm definitely hoping that the world will be unique compared to the original game or Breath of the Wild, and I'm hoping that it will be at least a little larger. So, yeah, that's kind of what I'm expecting to see for the world. I mean, this is a brand new game and everything, and it's a sequel, so I don't really expect things to change too much or be exactly the same, because it still has to be a new experience for people. So it's somewhere in the middle. So it's not going to be completely different, but it's going to be somewhere in between, but not exactly the same. That's kind of what I'm expecting this world to be like. And I could also see there being more settlements in villages. I'm not sure how it would work with like the new like floating islands and different things like that. But considering the fact that this is taking place after Breath of the Wild, I feel like there could be more like settlements after like the story of that game concluded. I feel like it would make more sense to have like more areas and different things. And I think it would be more interesting to see like larger towns and different things, or maybe even like a rebuilt like Hyrule Castle town or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if the trailer deconfirms it or anything, but I think it would be cool to see at least one bigger town. I'm not sure. It doesn't really have to be too big, but it was understandable why the settlements and villages were so small in the original game due to the context of the story. It makes a lot of sense. But I think it would be cool, like, now that that story is concluded, I think it would be cool to see, like, some slightly larger towns or villages, because there is a whole village that is built in the original game, like, as one of the side quests and everything. So I don't think it's outside of the realm of possibility that, like, a new town or a new settlement could be built within the time frame of the original game in this game. So, it's in the context of the story. So I think it would be interesting to at least see some, like, new villages and new settlements and different things like that. And another thing that I want to see is a crafting system. And Breath of the Wild has like the item degradation system, like where they break and everything. I know not a lot of people like that system, but I actually thought it was fine for the open world gameplay because it kind of incentivized exploration and kind of like resource management and different things like that. So I don't think they should remove that. I think that would definitely kind of take away a lot of the skill and strategy of the game, and the exploration as well if they remove that. Because I don't think it would be really good if you could just like get a bunch of weapons and you wouldn't really be able to like manage that. And I don't know, I feel like it could be a bit clunky if they just revert back to the older system with that open world and everything. So to compensate for that item degradation system, I feel like they could have a crafting system. Like, you could craft different weapons with different like resources and things, because I know there are like resources you could collect in Breath of the Wild and everything. So in Tears of the Kingdom, I think it would be cool if you could actually get some if you could actually craft and everything and use some of those resources to make weapons and different things. I know there could be like different weapons that are like exclusive to the actual world itself, but then there could also be like weapons that are exclusive to crafting and different things. So I think it would be cool if they did that. Like, since you can make food and cook in Breath of the Wild and do different things like that, I feel like a crafting system would definitely make sense. And another thing that I would like to see is like more items as well, kind of adding on to that. Like, things like the hook shot or other older items would be really cool to see. Like, I think things that would make like traversal more interesting or combat more interesting overall, and even like puzzles as well. And I'll get into dungeons. But yeah, things like the hook shot would be really cool to see in Tears of the Kingdom. So like other items like that as well. But that's the main one that I want to see, because I think it would definitely it would definitely help with traversal and everything. I know they are doing like the new mechanic with Link's arm and everything, and they might even like incorporate like a hook shot like feature with that, which would be cool. But yeah, just more abilities in general would be really cool to see. And I think they are already kind of doing that with like Link's arm and the mechanics that that will have and everything. So I'm looking forward to that. And kind of going on with that, like, different abilities and items could, like, help with dungeons and also, like, shrines as well. So I think a return to traditional dungeons would be really cool, and I'd like to see it in a way where it actually is very fitting and makes sense within the open world of Tears of the Kingdom and everything. So I'm not sure how they would do it exactly. I'm sure there would be like a decent amount of dungeons in the game, and they could make it in a similar way to kind of like bring in the concepts of both the shrines and the divine beasts, and also having like a lot of unique like gimmicks and mechanics for the dungeons, like based on different areas and different things like that. So I think a return to traditional dungeons is something that I'd like to see, and I think a lot of people would like to see that as well. And I'd also like to see shrines return. Like, I mean, I feel like that's definitely pretty likely, even more likely than traditional dungeons, but I feel like they should be revamped as well. I'm not sure how exactly they would do it, but like make them feel more fresh and kind of add things that they didn't have before. I'm not sure, like, maybe, like, I mean, I know they would do more puzzles and different things, but maybe, have the shrines kind of, upgrade your abilities in a different way. But I think, like, just shrines, but make them feel more fresh and more interesting for Breath of the Wild players. But I like to see the shrines return, like, along with traditional dungeons. So, another thing, like, kind of on, like, the world, is more enemies, or I guess, like, a larger variety of enemies. Because I feel like one of the small nitpicks I had with Breath of the Wild is the fact that there weren't a ton of different enemies. Like, I feel like you could kind of encounter a lot of the same enemies over and over again. So I think it would be cool if there was, like, a larger variety of enemies. And I think it would be cool if there were, like, a larger variety of, like, powerful enemies, kind of like how the Lynels or the Guardians were in Breath of the Wild. I think it would be cool to see, like, more, like, stronger enemies like that, like a larger variety of those that have, like, different attack patterns than normal enemies and that are much like harder to defeat than the normal enemies. So I think like a larger variety of those enemies would be nice to see as well, because there really wasn't much variety in terms of like the stronger enemies in Breath of the Wild. So I think it would be cool to see that, and like just more focus on the combat in general would be nice to see. Like, not too much focus on the combat. I still want more focus on exploration, but I think a little more focus on combat than Breath of the Wild would be cool to see. So yeah, and the final thing, which I think is kind of unlikely, but also there's like a lot of like rumors and leaks behind it, but it's something that I'd personally like to see, is like some sort of multiplayer. Like, I mean, obviously it would have some sort of story context behind it, but I think it would be cool if, like, another player could play Zelda. There could possibly be even, like, online co-op and different things. Just, I think that would be cool to, like, actually, like, explore the world with another person. I think that would be cool. I don't think it would, like, I'm not sure how it would work exactly, and I'm not sure if it would even have, like, something, like, online and different things. But I think it would be cool to see. Like, I know there's been, like, those mods of Breath of the Wild that have actually, like, had multiplayer and everything. And I think, like, just exploring, like, the open world and kind of going around with, like, another person would actually be kind of a fun idea if it was executed well. Like, I mean, there could definitely be a lot of problems with that, and I'm not sure how it would work out exactly. But I think just multiplayer in general would be a pretty interesting feature. Personally, like, I think it would be really cool, and it's something that I want, but I don't really think it needs to be there, like a lot of people are saying. Like, there's a lot of people who are saying, like, Zelda should definitely be a playable character, or multiplayer, and different things like that, but it would be cool, and I'd like it. but I don't really think it's that likely, because Breath of the Wild is just strongly focused on the single player aspects and everything, and is a completely single player game. So I feel like Tears of the Kingdom is probably going to be pretty similar in that aspect. So, anyways, I'm looking forward to Tears of the Kingdom, and there's definitely a lot of things that I want to see out of this game, and there's definitely a lot of things that I definitely think Nintendo will do with this game. So, yeah, anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server if you want to. Goodbye.